very much, Yusuf. Thank you, Yusuf. I couldn't hope for a better introduction. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Nawfal Ramoul, TV anchor at Dubai Media Incorporated. And on behalf of Dubai International Project Management Forum, I would love to welcome you in this panel entitled Future Trends in Project Management. To discuss this very important topic, let me introduce our esteemed speaker, Mr. Joseph Cahill, Chief Customer Officer at Project Management Institute, PMI. Mr. Cahill, you are responsible for all the PMI's global customer group. You oversee the global customer engagement team and the global customer experience team and PMI's 8 geographical regions. You are all responsible for them. That's a great experience and responsibility, actually.
It's a heavy one.
It's a very heavy one. And you have, of course, over 20 years of senior leadership experience, including digital transformation and strategic planning and new business development. Mr. Cahill, you landed to Dubai a few hours ago. You slept at 2 a.m. Thank you for being with us today. But I would love you to take us in another trip, me and our esteemed guests. This trip will be to year 2031. And how do you see project management changing over this next decade, both as a result of the COVID-19, of course, pandemic that we've been suffering for the last 2 years, and of course, the new trends?
Well, the question makes me think about our children, particularly the Generation Z. And I was just reminded by my children a week ago that they're calling it Generation Zoom. It's not Generation Z, Dad. So when I think 10 years ahead, I think about them and I think about your children and what they're going to be doing in project management roles. So I see them leveraging technology. I think everybody sees that. But I really can envision a day where they can pick something out of their pocket. Maybe it's a phone or something else that can assist them in the moment, on the job, to help them solve problems from a project management skill and agility skill perspective. That's where we see things going. So a perfect experience for them. Because after all, they are so accustomed to things coming quickly to them. So they don't have time to figure out hybrid and predictive and agile. They need to know, where do I go next? So what's the decision criteria for them to choose a way of working? So I see that as a very important part of the future of project management, and PMI's oriented our transformation so that we can be there for that generation, and of course our own generation. We're all going to be taking part in what I just described.
That is changing very fast.
Very
Mr.
fast.
Cahill. PMI's transformation and growth study is now known for 4.0. This is how you call it. Can you tell us how the organization is actually evolving in light of how project management and the world of work are changing as well?
Okay, so a big part of our transformation positioned us for this new strategy, which is a growth strategy. Certainly we're working and developing and reskilling and upskilling our existing community, which is around the world. We have 300 plus chapters around the world. We've been around for 50 plus years. But we're also acknowledging that project management skills are needed beyond just the project manager, because there's so much change going on around the world that people in the broader project team, the initiatives within the program offices, and even within the organizations themselves need these skills to change or to keep up with change. So we see a new focus area beyond project managers, which we call change makers. So these are the people today that actually work with project managers, but they're going to continue to be more and more important for them to be upskilled on project skills, to be able to navigate change in their organizations. So that's a big part of the strategy. There's 4 pillars of the strategy. One is called Coalition of Associations. And Coalition of Associations is an effort to partner with other associations around the world, other NGOs, to really bring all the skills that are needed for a change maker to help organizations. So that means partnering with other professional associations. We partner with the United Nations. And not only do we bring them other skills and adjacent skills that are needed, but we bring the project management skills to those associations. So we're expanding our view, we're expanding our positioning in the marketplace by partnering. The other part of the strategy, the second pillar, is B2B advocacy, so business-to-business advocacy. We've always known that it's really important for us to actually deliver value into the marketplace to our stakeholders. We have to understand what organizations need. So the B2B advocacy pillar helps us drive into the organizations, understand your pain points, so that we're designing the right professional skill base that you need to further the value in your company and actually to further the value for your customers. The third pillar is our community pillar, which will continue to expand our communities around the world by bringing more and more people into the PMI community. As I described, the change maker being the broader definition of the community. And I will say that the last piece is social impact, the last pillar. So our professionals have always been involved in social impact, driving changes of environmental changes and meeting the challenges of environmental challenges in the world. And our practitioners will continue to do that. And we want to give them the recognition that they deserve and give them the skills, right? Because this rapidly changing world, the skills continue to change as well. So we're on the forefront of what those skills are through our research and through what we're hearing from organizations.
I want to focus on one point that I find major and very important, that is skills, because technological advancement and regional megatrends have pushed the government to make strategic reforms. So what are the most in-demand skills now that will help the countries achieve those reforms and accomplish those strategies?
Sure. So what we see in our research and what we see in the organizations around the world is the need for the hard skills as well as the soft skills. Traditionally, we have delivered to the marketplace what we call a talent triangle, whereby you need a certain set of skills as a project manager to succeed on your projects and succeed in your companies. So we've introduced what we call power skills, which is the soft skill component, which includes collaboration skills, leadership skills, having empathy for the customer. These type of skills are some of the more important skills, right? When you get past the hard skills, because you have to navigate change, you have to really navigate with your stakeholders to understand and help communicate what the project is and what the outcomes of the project. If you really want to be the top tier project manager, you really need to develop those skills. And I don't want to say that the hard skills aren't important. They're critical. They're table stakes. You need to understand predictive project management, agile, hybrid. All these different technical skills are a necessity to be a project manager. And I'll close it out by saying the business acumen skills are also very important as well. You need to know the context in which your project is executing in, right? What's the industry? What's the country? And if you don't understand those nuances, you're going to have a difficult time delivering.
I want to link what you have said now about the skills and the changes that will be made during the next decades as trends in the project management. And I want to ask you, does this require from decision makers to change the landscape of education? And from the enterprises and firms and company, the training as well, to be adaptable to what you said now of needed skills?
Yes. So the big part of the answer to your question is change. It's a big component of what we're talking about here today in this conference, and the fast pace of change. So that is the context in which existing project managers and then our children, right, really need to step up and fill the gaps, right? To navigate this change, you need a lot of people with these skills to navigate through change. So what I see is what I already talked about, this upskilling and reskilling, project management skills, agility skills. Our people within our community really need to have that in order to navigate through change.
It's number one priority.
Yeah.
Very interesting. How is the role and practice of project managers helping with that? Helping with the in-demand skills that is required to make the changes?
Well, the project managers are the ones that actually execute. So here's some context. If you think about sustainability or ESG, what I hear from the C-suite on the topic of sustainability around the world is they talk quite a bit about the problem and a lot about the targets. And I think, and what I want to hear more about is the folks that are actually executing against those targets. And in many cases, in all cases, it's a project leader in some way, shape, or form is taking the ideas and getting to those outcomes that we need to meet those challenges, right? Because we're looking down the barrel of a three-degree world in 2050, and in order to really achieve meeting the goals, you really need people that can execute, because you're short on capital, you're short on capacity, and you're certainly short on time.
You're focused on PMI at a global level, and the question is, since you are here in the Middle East and in Dubai and during Expo, what lessons do you believe the Middle East can take from other parts of the world in terms of driving large-scale changes through projects?
Sure. So what we do every year is we publish a most influential projects list. And that list basically demonstrates to the world what are the most impactful projects around the world. Two of which are actually right here in Dubai.
Can we say them? Can we say their names?
Sure.
On top of your list we have?
The Museum of the Future.
Amazing, it's in Dubai.
And the Expo, right?
Of course.
So well recognized by PMI for what it's done here. I have just gotten here and I'm going to learn quite a bit more about the Expo and the accomplishments of the project team. But also, there's other contexts, right? Yeah. Where else around the world do you look to? I would say, I would look to China. We have over 500,000 PMPs in China. And that was a result of a 20-year partnership that PMI had with the Chinese government. And 2 years ago, right before the pandemic, they issued a report from the government that showed all of the outcomes from that 20-year partnership. And tremendous results. You can all see the growth of China. I don't think I have to explain that to anybody. But what we saw in the publication is that the organizations, like 80% of the organizations, really value project management and the certifications. Also, about 75% of the organizations thought that project management was leading innovation in the company and driving performance. So we're really proud of what we did in China, and I think here in the Middle East, it doesn't take long to see what's been done and accomplished here. I would just say continue doing it. We can be there for you, and I think there's plenty of examples around the world of collaboration.
Since, of course, the MENA region and Middle East is really under your radar for quite a time, and you have been observant of the mega project that have been done. So any observation you have on trends in the MENA region, in particular, any trends? Trends. You have trends in the MENA region that you observe that are really required to be highlighted?
Sure, I would touch on it. It was in the previous session, but sustainability is certainly something we're seeing quite a bit around the world. Right here in Dubai, in the Middle East, the people in the room, the organizations in the room, the governments in the room are taking the lead on this particular issue, I would say, from what I can see. I see a great opportunity for project management community to be recognized for what they're already doing, but also to take the lead on this execution piece of ESG challenges. We are the people in the trenches that get those projects executed, get those ideas into reality.
We will answer the topic, we still have 1 minute, the topic, the main topic of this session in one sentence. How is the future and what are the future trends in the project management, if we can summarize this?
Yes, I can summarize it. I believe that the future trends that we're seeing at PMI is the integration and the aggregation of all the different ways of working into one way of work where there's choices to be made, and we can help you make those choices and direct into the right ways of working and the skills that are needed. So to me, it's really simplifying it. And to tie it into what I said at the top about Generation Zoom, to put it in a very easily accessible experience so that we and also our children can actually execute projects.
Thank you, Mr. Kahel. You are here for a few days.
I am.
would you take, of course, a tour in this amazing that is Expo Dubai 2020?
I am very excited to do that. I was at the Expo in 2012 in Shanghai.
Oh, wow.
And I've had a great interest in it, and I think I'm going to be blown away here.
You will be impressed, actually, here. There are so many nice pavilions. You are American, you will go to the American pavilion. And, of course, there are the UAE pavilion, the Wasl. I mean, you will be amazed and you will have a blast. Don't forget to put your hand on the moon rock.
The moon rock?
Yeah, it's here in the US pavilion, and make a wish.
I will do that.
And maybe a wish come back always
I hope
to
my
Dubai.
wishes come true. Yes, thank you.
We say inshallah.
All right.
Hel, thank you very much for this session. Thank you, Your Excellency, esteemed guest, for being with us in this session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.